I'm saying, man, hey, I was feeling pretty down myself this morning, bro. I said, man, what's going on here? I had to snap out of it.
Oh yeah, we get into those periods of time, man, when we don't want to. We hurting and can't get around, and uh, man, it's we just we don't realize that we blessed and stuff and everything. Anybody who's out there and getting up and doing what they're supposed to do, they blessed. They need to realize it and thank the Lord every day that they can open their eyes and get up and feed themselves and put their clothes on. Never in my lifetime, Ted, that I realized that this would happen. That we would be glad to get up and be able to put your damn clothes on, put your shoes on. Because there
Yeah,
people out
bless
there,
you.
man, they can't do nothing. They can't even
No,
put their shoes on. People got to dress them, bathe them and stuff and everything. I said, oh man. But if it ever gets to that point with me where I can't put my clothes on and do what I got to do, man, I don't know what to do. I just might as well. My quality of life, once the quality of life is gone, then hey, you might as well just go ahead on because we have no idea, people and stuff, what is waiting for us on the other side.
no, we don't.
You don't have any idea. It could be a lot of our folks and stuff, parents and everything, grandparents already over there. And we don't know what's happening on that other side because really, actually, we are sitting around here, people, in this thing here we call a body, but really, actually, uh, we don't stay in this thing. We go someplace. And I know we do because I've seen it happen to at least two or three of my folks. I saw it with my father when he passed away, and he was in the hospital, and they called us there, and we walked into the room, and I looked down there at that thing that used to be where my dad was at, and I said, "My dad's not there anymore. All it is just something that we use and stuff while we're here in this place. We got to have faith and stuff that there's a better place for us, and I know it is. So, all you folks out there who, man, we there's something better for us other than here. So stop holding on to this place. If your time to go is go, and let your folks go. Don't hold them here because we don't know what's on the other side. And I know it's got to be better to you. I know it's got to be better and stuff for it. So,
Well, this is a pretty good life right here.
oh yeah. Well,
I'm enjoying it.
yeah, I'm enjoying it.
You know,
I look up and see, all the guys wonders and stuff in his world. He got a lot of wonders here. He done did a lot of stuff. He done built a lot of things that man
I'm enjoying.
can't
I'm
duplicate.
enjoying this life. Not exactly the way I wanted it to be, but it is what it is because obviously this is what I wanted. But I'm enjoying it. I mean, life is good, bro. And I believe it's going to be even a million times better on the other side. So I'm going to enjoy this life the best I can. There's a lot of things I can do and be active. You know what I'm saying? Like you drove out to Illinois and what have you, and you're active. I have different little places I go, and we just enjoy life despite the circumstances of what's going on around us. And we have been dealing with these political politics shit our whole life. And some of it even we weren't even aware of. And now as we get older or elderly, we are now looking at it for the last, I could say 20 years, maybe 25. We know the details of all of this charade. It's been a big charade, bro. The money that they have stolen from the taxpayers that did not go into the people, and I'm talking about all people, not just raping from black folks. I mean, they did that 1,000 times over, but they raping from everybody. They taking money from everybody. You know that $1.7 billion, that ain't nothing but pennies, nickels, and dimes, bro. They done stole trillions, and gave away trillions. So this country is one of the greatest countries in the world. And the reason why, in my opinion now, Ed, the reason why is because of black people. Majority of the black people. Prayers, work, ingenuity. Now, there are a lot of Caucasians and different people, nationalities, ethnic groups have helped build this country in many, many ways. But the backbone of this democracy is black people. The backbone. Now, those people that be protesting, and this is only, I'm talking about not recently, I'm talking about back in the day. Most of those people out there was protesters striking, making more money. They weren't protesting about their rights. They weren't protesting about police brutality. They weren't protesting about jobs. They was protesting or they was striking so that they can make more money. Most of them were striking so they make more money. Now, some of them, when the union started, and a lot of people strike because they wanted better conditions, they was treating those people like shit. But I'm just saying that when we protest, we're protesting about our rights to be treated fairly. Fair. I ain't talking about being treated special. I'm talking about being treated fairly. So I think, because of this country and because of at least the Constitution and the amendments of the Constitution, you know, we have really showed the world that this is how it's done. However, it just shows you how weak democracy is. When you let one person come in and do what the hell he want to do and don't call him on the carpet. This right here is the weakness of America right now because, it used to be if someone did something that was against the law, they got him. They didn't let him slide. So here we are now. All kinds of people have been let slide. They have broken the law, and they give them pardons, and that was the problem. They allow the president to pardon people when these people that should not have been given to the president. These people that killed people. Some of these people that killed people. Some of these people that stole billions of dollars. Some people that embezzled billions of dollars from the government, and they pardon them. And what do the American people say? Hey, they're all crooks. They're all crooks. And it makes our government look bad. That's the reason why their percentages, their approval ratings is so low. Because you let a person, I'll never forget this story here. And I'm gonna be quiet after this because I can go on. But let me just say this. This story, I'll never forget. I was living in California. Now I don't even remember if it happened in California or it happened in another state. But this guy had a third strike against him. You remember 3 strikes? He stole a pack of cigarettes and got caught. That was his third strike. They gave that man 30 years.
3 strikes law. And guess who started it?
It was the Democrats.
Yep, Bill Clinton. 3 strikes and you out. Because everybody at that time, if you remember, the Republicans was what? Law and Order Party.
Yeah.
Law and Order. Gotta obey the law. Totally different than you hear what's going on today. They are no longer the Law and Order Party. They're allowing the law to be used in their favor, and it's just gotten out of hand. Now,
Well,
I think that I'm gonna take us back, take this our little discussion back to 2010. What happened in 2010?
mm,
The the Supreme Court allowed money to enter into politics, and our president at that time, Barack Obama, did a State of the Union. And the State of the Union address, everybody comes inside the rotunda and they sit down inside, and you got the senators on one side, you got the House of Representatives on the other side, and right out front are the Supreme Court justices. And Barack Obama sat up there in that pulpit and looked down there at all 9 of them son of guns and told them, "You have done something that is going to wreck this country." And 16 years later, after that thing has happened, they have wrecked this country with that Citizen United opinion that came out of the Supreme Court. They have allowed money to become the power that has taken over politics. Everybody who was in that big old room there, even the people out in the public and stuff, did not understand what Barack Obama was talking about. But the man had some foresight and he realized and he told them, this is going to destroy us. And we are at that point right now. What are we going to do, people? What are we going to do? Money has entered politics and it has destroying us. It
well,
has gotten so bad that money can win elections and stuff for us now. There's so much money that's in politics right now. It is unbelievable. We just never in the history of anything that happened that $100 million was spent in a primary election
a primary.
to win a position in the United States Senate with a salary of $170,000. So how much they get paid? $170,000 is their salary. Money, 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 money.
And you can't tell me that the fight for these senators and congressmen is not worth the vote
But
because people are spending money to get the vote.
but
And these people,
how do we tell those folks, Ted, who did not vote how valuable their little vote is? How do we tell these people that? How do we
Ed,
give it to
we
them? Tell them.
live, I said it earlier, we live in such a great country. And I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this no harm for the person that don't have a roof over their head. We live in the greatest country in the world, Ed. Most people, I'm talking about, we talking over 240 million people who are here legally. Most people They don't know really what poverty is. They're not. They poor. They broke. They ain't. They don't live in poverty. They broke. They living from paycheck to paycheck, or they living from check to check, and or food stamps to food stamps, whatever it is. They don't really know what really poor is. You know, poverty. Real poverty, bruh. You can go to some places and you can see what real poverty is. But here, if you want something to eat, they got food lines all over the place. Just in this little area where I stay in, I mean, they got your breakfast for lunch. You got lunch. They know exactly where to go. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You want clothes? They know exactly where to go get some clean clothes. But I'm talking about real poverty, bro. So therefore, people don't give a shit. They don't care because they are not involved in the struggles of people who want something. What I mean by want, I mean if you are married and you have children and you take care of your children, you want something. You want something not only for yourself, but you want something mostly for your children because you feel responsible for bringing those kids in this world. If you're any kind of decent, halfway decent person, you got to take care of those children. So I got to get up because my kids got to eat in the morning, or I got to buy groceries. I got to pay this light bill. I got to pay this car note so that we can get around. So therefore, but it's easy to just lay down and stay at home. But when you got a responsibility to take care of your children, or you have a responsibility for yourself and your wife, I see a lot of couples running around homeless. They might have got cut off in drugs. They might have been caught. They might have some kind of mental problem or alcoholic problem. They don't understand. They don't want to be in the system. But this is a systematic system that you have to know how to navigate yourself with. That's all. You got to learn how to navigate yourself. Is it perfect? No, far from perfect. But how you gonna get people to want to do something when they don't feel the pain, bro? They can care less. They don't feel no pain. They don't care who's in office because they know that it's going to be a food line for them. They know where to get their food. They know where to get some clean clothes. You have all of these nonprofit organizations, these churches. You know, you got a bunch of churches. They set up, come get some food or come get a box of food. All of that. People really don't know what poverty is, and they don't care about progress. I consider myself a progressive person. I mean, I'm not as more progressive as I used to be here because I'm limited with my mobility. I don't drive anymore. I stopped driving years ago, and I don't go places no more. I'm not out there and about. But the point is that I'm informed that I know what's going on. I read articles. I go on the sites and what have you and read stuff and look at stuff. I'm concerned about this country, and you can't convince. How you gonna convince 90 million people to vote when they don't even care about the system?
And
They don't
you
even care
take it
about the
you
progress.
you take it just like someone has already spoken to me about that. You got 90 million people, so how do you eat an elephant?
I hear that term all the time.
How do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. So
But ain't none of
you
these
get
people want
you
to do
get
no
them,
bites, bro.
you get just a few of them at a time. You just start out and get a few to come on and do something, and you get a few more, and you get a few more, and you get a few more, and pretty soon you're gonna put a dent into that 90 million. First, you got to find out where they at. Then you got to find out what motivates them. You almost have to be a psychologist or something to deal with folks out there where you're trying to get their votes and everything. Sometimes you have to go and into their homes and sit down and talk to them. Sometimes you have to catch them out in the street where they at on the corner shooting dice in the dirt. You got to catch them there. That's where you're gonna get them. And you start motivating them. Say, hey, brother, you get your friend down the street down there. I'm gonna make you and put you in charge of this block. You the baddest son of a gun out there. Come on, let's go. Let's find out where they at. We gonna find out. We gonna get these folks to vote, and someone gonna tell you who gonna vote, who ain't gonna vote, and who can be motivated and who can't be motivated. That's how you start. A little bit at a
That
time.
I agree.
A
But
little bit at a time.
that takes a lot of work and a lot
A
of
lot of work.
coordinating,
It does, and a
and it
lot,
looks like the people.
and that's how you build your army. You train your army. You train your troops to send your troops out there to get the folks and stuff to do what you need to get done. I watched it happen. It can be done. It can be
So
done.
what
I've
you
seen it
saying
happen in
is
action.
what you saying is, and you know when you said that, what they call him a community organizer.
Correct.
Is that what they called him?
Organizer.
He was an organizer,
Organizer.
and he did exactly that.
Yes, sir. Organize. Get them organized.
And he had laid the blueprint out
Yep. And nobody wants to
to
follow it
every,
anymore.
and
Nobody
nobody
wants to
followed
follow
it.
it. Nobody wants to follow it anymore. They don't want to find out. You're gonna lay the blueprint out there and show them how to win. You always study your enemy and understand what's going on. If somebody can lay the blueprint out there and that shit works, and I would think I would try it. I would think I would try it. May not work, but I would try it. But anyway,
Well, yeah, I mean,
yep,
you got to have
yep.
a certain
Just
amount of
just
charisma and
now,
all that.
just think, Ted. You had 90 some million people out there who didn't vote. Most of those elections were won or lost within 10,000 people.
Yep.
You ain't gonna need no 90 million. You're gonna have to figure out how many you're gonna need. You might need 5,000 over here, 10,000 over there, or 20,000 over there. That's all you need to win. Turn that election around. Those elections are won. Now, some elections and stuff and everything uh, were unbeatable. If you getting beat by 20 or 30 points and stuff and everything, shit, that's a hell of a fight there. You're not going to win that. But if you can keep that theme within 3 or 4 points and turn some people around, you can
That's
win that
why
election.
Obama won Florida.
He won Florida both years, both
Yeah.
elections. He won Florida and he won Ohio, both elections.
Yep.
The first one he won North Carolina. Those are battleground states. They're not no. Well, Florida is a battleground state still. Ohio is. Eh, you got Pennsylvania now and Michigan and stuff. All those are battleground states.
And neither one of those should be battleground.
Yeah, yeah. Florida going to continue to be a battleground
Nor
because
Wisconsin.
they got electoral college votes there. So you just have to figure out how to win. And
Well,
I'm And I'm wondering and stuff, just like we are sitting here talking, Ted, and saying what needs to be done to get people to be motivated and everything. I'm wondering and stuff why all these politicians and stuff are not out there motivating people to come on out and vote for them. You don't see them.
Nope,
We don't see them.
nope.
And the reason why you don't see them is why you know you ain't gonna vote. You know you're not gonna vote, so they don't see you. They ain't gonna vote, so hell, I ain't got to go over there. They got to change that mentality around. And I don't see their DNC chairman and stuff changing that mentality. He's still running in that same race that they ran 4, 5 years ago, and they lost. You got to change your strategy if you want to win something. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting the different results. What do they call that? Idiocracy. That's crazy. Do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
I just want
So,
to tell the people, if you're listening, I would love for you to subscribe and like. You might not listen to the whole program. We talk for about an hour, and we don't plan our conversations, people. Now, we might say we're going to talk about certain subject matters and what have you, and we might read a few articles and discuss certain things. But the most important thing is that what we try to do, at least what I try to do, I want people to be engaged and be informed, but don't mean that we given uh, concrete information that we can back up 3, 4, sites or articles or information because we don't make no calls to nobody. What we see is what we see. Now both of us are very real read, and I don't know about Ed, but I don't read as much as I used to. But you know, the point is that I believe this: your anytime that you need something, your brain, your subconscious mind, memory will come up. Certain things that you read about, certain things that we discussed or what have you, certain things, we'll come up with it. We'll come up with the semblance of it, and then we might do our research from there. But the point is that what I think our whole method of this show is for you to do critical thinking to know that what's going on internationally and what's going on domestically. Now, you might have a lot of smart people out there. It's a lot of smart people out there that know exactly what's going on. They understand the politics of it. But, a lot of stuff is not about politics. A lot of stuff is just common sense. In my mind,
absolutely,
you know, just common sense.
absolutely.
It's not that hard. In order for you to be an American, you have to vote. That's what it's based on. This country is based on one man, one vote. And, they always try to put like, well, black people, all they do is vote for Democrats. Well, if you look at it, the Democrats is the one that's doing, is at least, I'm not saying they're perfect, far from perfect. But if you look at certain things that they have done through the years, they have helped most of the people. It ain't the Democrats that put us in $40 trillion in debt. It's the Republicans. But they got it so as though the Democrats is giving all your money away. The Democrats ain't giving your money away. They give it. They help. They have safety nets for people who need help. It's the Republicans that are stealing your money. And they've been stealing your money for 50 years. They've been stealing your money. I'm gonna say it again. They've been stealing, and I can give you line by line, year by year, how much money they've stolen from you, and giving it away to certain countries when that money's supposed to be given to you. Now they're arguing about a $1.7 billion giveaway that this knucklehead gonna give to criminals, but he gave $40 billion away to Argentina. 40 billion, not 1.7 billion. That's your money. They have given billions, $1 trillion in the last 50, 60 years to Israel. Count it up. Count it up.
Mm-hmm.
They have given almost $1 trillion to Israel to support them. And then they argue about a couple of $1 billion to help the real poor people that's living in poverty in Sudan and other parts of the world. And then just giving them mud, basically slop for food. People, y'all just don't know how much money that these people have stolen out of your pocket. And you sitting up here paying 20, 30% for your credit cards and buying trucks that you got to pay $1,000 a month to buy. That's unheard of, paying $1,000 a month for a car note. Yeah, I mean, and then y'all just take it like it ain't nothing. Because your family, your household family might be making $7,000, $8,000 a month, or maybe a little bit more than that. But the bottom line is, you ain't gonna be paying that kind of money for no doggone truck or car. You paying five, some places $5 and $6 and $7,000 a month for a mortgage. You've been hoodwinked. You've been hoodwinked. And these people, you're allowing these people to do this stuff, and you happy with your congressperson because he's a nice person to you. But what is he doing for the nation? What is he doing for the country? People. You voters out there that's sitting up here continually vote for these people that don't really care about people, about this country. We getting ready to come to a 250-year, supposed to be a celebration. This knucklehead that's in charge right now, oh yeah, it's gonna be some people out there pretending that they, oh yeah, act like and they're happy about it, knowing damn well this ain't right. What's going on right now? You got gas, people paying $4 and $5 a gallon. You got people that's paying behind on their mortgages, behind on their car notes. You got people who can't hardly buy food. What is going on? You people, I mean, to me, it's almost like, hey, you don't care about the country and the way it's going. Oh, just give them time. It's gonna get better. Just give them time.
we
Here,
we're
I
trying to
mean,
keep up with the American dream, Ted. And so
ooh, you said it.
sometimes that dream is unattainable.
You said it right there. Trying to keep up. and they'll do anything to try to keep up. Well, I ain't making enough money. I got to make more money. So therefore, I got to get 2 jobs now. Chasing a dream.
Well, we done heard all the good news. Cause and most people, you might look at us and say, "Damn, did that we got that was good news." Yeah, that's
That
good
was good
news,
news,
people.
bro.
That was good news.
He can ready bring
Listen,
you some real.
we haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get worse, people, before it gets better. It is going to get worse before it gets better. I guarantee you, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the reason why I'm saying that is that we have things going on in this country. When you have the people who are in charge of the country who are telling you gas prices not that high, food prices ain't that high, they down. And you're walking in that store and you walking into that gas station and you paying almost $5 a gallon for gas and they telling you that it ain't that bad. When your people who are in charge of the country are telling you something that you know is not true, then it's going to get worse, people, because they don't understand what the hell is going on. They have no feelings, no compassion about you and what's going on in your life. None whatsoever. So get ready. You're going to get worse because if they think that what we're going through right now is okay and there's no problem and everything is fine, they don't have any idea what the hell's going on, or they don't care. And when they don't care, it's not going to get any better. And like we just finished saying, we can't pay our bills. We're using our credit cards. And we used to say paycheck to paycheck, but it's gotten worse, people. And most of us know that. It's gotten worse than paycheck to paycheck because most of us can't make it from paycheck to paycheck. Getting worse. Anyway, what else, Mr. Harvey? You got anything else you got going on?
Well, the thing is, I've been thinking, and just listening to and I'm not gonna say conversations, but I'm listening to the spirit of the conversations that's going on. There's a lot of little innuendos, a lot of things that people are saying who got money. And what I mean by that is that there are people that's out there who know that certain things are not right, and they're making comments about it because their listeners or their viewers are tapping into them and having conversations with them about their situation. It used to be making $75,000, $100,000 was good money, but the people now that's making 6 figures, and if you got one spot, if you by yourself or if you got a spouse, and you might be making 150, $160,000 in your household, and you say, "Oh, we done made it." You got your nice little house, you got your car, and everything, but you might have your car paid for, you might have your home almost paid for, but one of these days you're gonna have to get a car, a new car. One of these days you're gonna say, hey, I got to downsize, or I have to uh, upgrade my house. That's where your expense is going to come from. Then you're going to be start tapping into your credit cards, your savings, and all that to keep up. It used to be that you can live off of, $50,000, $60,000 a year. Your house might be paid for, your car is paid for, and you're gonna live a decent life. Nowadays, that ain't happening because they have allowed this $40 trillion. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Inflation goes up to 4%, over 4%. Right now, it's 3.8. So when you have inflation, meaning you know what inflation is. What it is that all it is is that when you go to the grocery store, you know, and because I do a lot of the shopping in my household, and I look at the prices and I see doubling in almost everything I buy now. When I used to buy just 5, 6 years ago, I used to buy a pack of I used to buy a pack of um, Oreos for $2.50 a pack. Now they sell them 2 packs for $8. I mean, I can go on and on. Different little things that I like or what have you. A pound of beef, hamburger meat, costs you $10 a pound now almost. Those things add up. Well, you're gonna buy it anyway, so you can go and buy it. But the point is that those little things add up. It's taking your disposable income. That means lack of money, lack of savings, lack of spending money for your children. But what do you do about it, Ed? That's what the question is. What do people do about it? Because the point is, they have sold out to these corporations and allowed these corporations to continue to price people out. That's what they do. And that's what they're doing for their profits, for their shareholders. And like I said, there's only 20, 25, if best 30% of the people play the market in this country. So,
I was going to say something to you to make sure that people understand out there because some people did they don't understand what that number means, that 3.8. They don't understand what if it goes up to 4.0, what that is, and how do they determine what that number is?
mm, ooh,
How do they determine
well,
that number?
well, the thing is, here's the thing. This is the thing. How they determine the number is this: is that what happens is that they look at all the prices that goes up. Different things. Like different uh, foods, mortgages, rent, all that, and they go to different areas of the country, and they look at how much percentage wise, how much was it 10 years ago, how much is it now, how much was it 5 years ago, how much was it last year, and they look at what it was last year, and every year, if the rents are a certain, like let's say the rent was last year the average rent was $1,000. I'm talking about rentals, because usually your mortgage is fixed, but your rentals go up. So now they look at the average and they look at that and they look at the percentage. In certain areas, that rent might be 5%. They charging 5%. So now you're paying, let's say, whatever 5% is, or it might be 10%, and it goes up $100 a month. Huh? You was paying 1,000, now you're paying 1,100. Well, the same thing with the food. They go by the meats. They go all of this. This is how detailed it is, and they go into different areas, and then they calculate those percentages, and then they figure out, okay, right now it's 3.8, and who knows, it might be over 4% next year or next quarter. They usually do it every quarter, and it's very detailed, and they have a number of people that call in and figure out these prices and find out what percentages and what the interest rates are, or what the even interest rates. They even figure that out. All of this stuff is all detailed and calculated. And then you wonder why. Well, how come my rent went up $100? Or how come my car note now, if I'm buying a new car, I was paying 3 years ago, I was paying $350. Now I got to pay $650.
Now, who determines the interest rates?
The Fed determines the interest rates.
Okay, and they decide how much interest that you're going to pay on your cars, on your mortgage, or anything that you purchase, or your credit cards is usually the minimum amount of money that you pay as far as interest is determined by the feds, correct?
Well, on credit cards, it's a little different.
Yep, I know. But I'm talking about the bottom part of it. Some people can get a credit card interest rates for 4 or 5% where they are now,
Yeah,
but a lot of other people's credit card rates
yeah,
are
they got to score over 800.
determined by their credit score. But the feds do determine
Yeah, they
what
determine for the most
the
part if
interest
you got
rates
a
are.
decent,
Now,
if you got a decent credit score.
why would they increase the interest rates? What is the
Well,
purpose?
the
But
reason why they increase the interest rates is because they want to slow down the overall expenditures, the overall loans. All of that is going too fast. People are
so
constantly
so
applying for loans, and they want to
so they
slow down the
wanna
economy.
so their purpose and stuff is to get people to stop buying.
Right.
Now, people,
But at the
that,
same
does that
time,
sound does that sound like someone is controlling your life when they telling you that we're gonna
yes,
raise the interest rates to stop you from buying
yes, they're going to try to stop you from buying, but at the same time, you got to pay more
if you buy?
if you buy. So therefore, the people that is selling it is making just as much money, if not more.
Okay, so people, if you need some more information about that, just leave us some comments because this stuff is it was foreign to me a while ago. Why they did all this, it was very foreign to me, but now I understand because most of the time and stuff, what you're saying, the Feds determine the interest rates, and the Feds interest rates is what the banks pay for borrowing money. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the banks and stuff, if the interest rate is 5%, then the bank's interest rate for borrowing their money from the Feds is 5%.
Well, no, the banks don't pay. The banks, some of them get zero interest rates. Some of them, they only pay 2% or 1% or 3%.
Even if the Feds have raised the rates.
Right. That's the rates for the consumer. But the banks, they don't pay that kind of rate
Well,
to borrow money from the
who
banks. And some
determines
of
how
these
much
banks get
who Who determines how much interest rate the banks get paid?
The Fed.
Okay, so the feds have then they have two rates then. They got the bank rate and they got the consumer rate.
Well, they got more than different rates because it all depends on what type of bank you are. If you one of those big time banks, your interest rate is very low. And if you got an 8+ rating, because some of those, man, during the pandemic or even during Obama's, they was paying zero interest rates
Right. And why were they paying zero interest rate?
so that the money can go out. And then the interest rates were fairly low. Not wasn't that low, but they was fairly low. At one time, they was people can get homes for 3-4% or 5%.
I'm just asking.
It's all a game, bro. And that's why I say that it's very convoluted, very complicated, very in depth. Uh, it's very detailed, and it's a science that they have figured out. However, you have crooks that know how to manipulate the system
You said they got
in
crooks
so
out
many
there.
ways.
You said they got crooks out there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay. I'm just
they're out there stealing money. Did you hear about this guy that?
I'm just being facetious right now. I
I'm
know
gonna,
that
I'm
there are
gonna, let
crooks
me
out
tell
there. I
you his
just
story. It's a guy that was out there that had put out. He was working for the government and claimed he was working for the CIA and doing this and doing that. He ended up embezzling for some years or more $40 million, and they just caught
in gold. In gold.
him. This is who? How many people is out there doing that kind of stuff? Hundreds, thousands of them. People stealing money from the government, stealing money from companies, all kind of stuff, bro. It's just
Now
oh
now didn't somebody in this was sitting before a Senate committee and they asked the secretary and stuff where was $500 million at,
yep.
and he couldn't tell them. Somebody stole $500 million, and he couldn't tell them. But he had a nerve to tell them a week or so before that you give us that 1 point something trillion, and we're going to give you an audit. We're going to let you audit our money now. They haven't balanced a budget in 6 years, but now all of a sudden he says you give us some money, we can give you a balanced budget. We can give you a budget that's balanced or an audit.
This is how they've been stealing money, bro.
They stealing money.
They
That $500 million.
stealing money, so much
He
money,
he
and the
didn't
people
think
is
he
not the
didn't
ones
think
that.
that somebody was going to ask him about that. When they asked him, he was totally surprised. What? Five? Where that money at? So people, like he just said, there's thieves out there. Final word, Ted.
Well, the word woke is a negative term now because, but I think that the thing is the Bible tells us to be watchful, be on guard, be watchful, because the devil is roaming around to and fro, seeing who he can devour. You have to be watchful, and this is what's going on right now. Now, I mean, I don't want to get religious or get spiritual, but there are people out there that are constantly trying to steal and constantly stealing and lying taking the money from the people. The people is paying taxes, giving all kinds of money out of their checks, and they're not getting a return, not a full return like they're supposed to. And so, therefore, there are people out there that's hurting that should not be hurting. You got poor people making good money, and they worrying about paying. I mean, that hurts, bro. If you used to paying $120 a month for gas, and now you got to pay almost 250, that adds up, bro. If your grocery bill was $200 a week, and now you got to pay double that, that adds up, bro. But I guess these people ain't hurting enough. That's what it is. That's why Trump said he ain't thinking about America financially because they ain't hurting enough. They need to hurt more. Y'all still going out to dinner. I should say that because I be going out to dinner 2, 3 times a week myself. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. My thing that I want to make sure that people out there who are listening to us is that all through our conversation, people that we have been talking about for this last hour, I want everyone out there to understand that you have power. You got power in your vote. You got power in your finances. You have power. You just have to realize how to use that power. We have what? About oh, 6, 7 years ago, we were talking about $1 trillion is going through our community every year. That number now has gone up. We damn near having $2 trillion that goes through the black community every year. You got
Yep.
power. We have power. We just
Money
have
is
to
power, bro.
understand how to use that power. And that's my final word. Understand how to use your power. You got a lot of power, people, a lot of power in your hands. Even if you were sitting out there and you don't even have a roof over your head, you have power. You figure out how to use it. You got power. You got millions of homeless people out there. You got power, you homeless people. Come together. Pull your resources together as homeless folks and stuff and use that power and stuff to take care of you, to make sure that you're okay. You can force your city council, if you don't have a home or a place to stay and you live in your car, you can force, if you come together as a power group, you can force your city council to supply you with a dumpster and stuff so you can throw your waste away. You can force the city council and stuff into setting up places where you can go and take a shower. You can force your city council to set up areas and stuff around the area where you live at and everything, and to put some washing machines there so you can wash your clothes. You got power. Use it. That's all I got to say. Talk to you folks later. Bye bye.